Hello everyone, I'm Krasi, and this is my weekly prognosis when I will be looking at the week day by day. My other prognosis predictions is the monthly prognosis, which is the month for the 12 ascendants, when I'm explaining you how the stellar and the planetary situation will influence each of the 12 ascendants. So I will give you a brief overview of the sky, and then we look day by day what to expect from each of the 7 weekly days. So the week is starting on 6th of April, Monday. And what we see is that on 6th of April, exactly, Jupiter is entering the sign of Capricorn for a while until he will be retrograde to go back into his own sign, Sagittarius. So there Jupiter will meet Saturn and Mars, and this is pretty complex conjunction, and here we will not yet experience the long-awaited pure conjunction between Jupiter and Saturn, which is very interesting and which will take place in December 2020. Now this conjunction is actually, I see it as something positive, because at the moment when Jupiter enters the sign of Capricorn, even if he's not really the only and ultimate ruler of the sign of Capricorn, even he's fallen there, still he will be bringing softening influences to the conjunction of Saturn and Mars, which is very difficult and negative, and which is creating the world situation now, and which is about imposing of power on governments over people. But now Jupiter is entering, and he's going to decrease the danger. So this I see as a very positive situation. And also we are still and will be for the next 10 years under the influences of Jupiter and Pluto conjunction. Look at my other video. I really make very detailed, the other video of yesterday, I made very detailed, I think, analysis of the Jupiter and Pluto conjunction and how this particular planetary aspect will influence us for the future, for the next 10 years actually. What is also happening this week is that Venus is in the sign of Taurus, and in Taurus, Venus is already not in the Pleiades anymore like she was in the Pleiades. Now she's moving towards the constellation of Perseus, where this is beautiful placement, and this will probably bring us some courage. Another thing which I'm expecting to happen, not only this week, but will be kind of emphasized on this week, is the awakening of people, because nothing can happen to us if we are awakened to the truth. And this is what is happening as a result of Jupiter-Pluto conjunction, and as a result of this beautiful placement of Venus in the constellation of the Perseus, who is the brave warrior on the sky, the one who killed the Medusa Gorgon, the one later on who gave the head of the Medusa Gorgon, and she was using the head as a shield. And this is the protective shield of Algol, and this is actually particular constellation is used for the creation of powerful protective talismans, amulets actually, because the amulets have protective function, and this is the head of the Gorgon, which I'm making when I think the next ones I will be making are in August. But I'm explaining you that Perseus is a very, very important constellation, and this week Venus will go through the Perseus, and she will become very brave. And because she's aspecting Saturn and Mars and Jupiter in Capricorn for good, it's a harmonious trine. I expect that we will become brave and courageous, and we will certainly not experience these unnecessary, absolutely useless fears, which are not only lowering our vibrations, but have no ground, and also are making us very vulnerable for manipulation, for attacks, and just name it. So This week is a little bit better than the week before, but still it's not over. So we need to be patient, because if you remember when I was talking about the illness which is spread, with the fake illness which is spread all over the world, I was also telling you that this is a result of the heliacal rise of Mars, who needs now to complete his cycle, which is happening at the end of December. So we may need to be patient with off and ons, like we were going to have reliefs, and then we're going to again be heavily manipulated, and this is going to take place up until end of 2021. But we're going to have our very good moments, and people are awakening for good. So Jupiter, Saturn, Mars in the sign of Capricorn. Luckily, Jupiter is there to help. And then we're having Venus creating the trine. And what is happening on Monday? Let's see what is happening on Monday. Is that, first, before I tell you this, I also want to remind you that the Sun is still in the constellation of Pisces. And in 1 week, when the Sun will enter the constellation of Aries, where he will be exalted, he will bring healing and improvement, and where the week will be even better. So 6th of April, Monday, 12th lunar day, the moon is conjunct a powerful star of the constellation of the Lion, and this star is associated first with astrology and then with all other esoteric sciences, numerology. Now, the constellation of the Lion is also very much about courage, about leadership. So I believe that when Venus is passing through Perseus, when the moon is now and tomorrow in Leo, we will be able to become courageous again, and we will be able to overcome the anxieties which are spread all over the world, more than the illness. So, well, yes, it's Monday. And on Monday, it's very appropriate to, to wear the gemstones of the moon. This is pearl, moonstone, larimar, all that is blue, and aquamarines that is blue and watery and beautiful and silvery. And we can look at the moon, we can just connect with the sky, and this will be very beneficial for us, and will also help us to gain our courage back. Now, also, the moon is making application aspect to Mercury, excuse me. So, and this is actually fine for our communication and spiritual awareness, because Mercury is the old lord of astrology, of the sky, and we can learn, we can study, and it will be beneficial, and it will give us joy. And yes, this is how we can benefit from Monday. We can, Mercury is in degrees of Aquarius, which are associated with this healing and very spiritual. So this is what indeed we can do. So Monday is an interesting day, much easier start of the week than the week before. So let's look now at Tuesday. Tuesday, 7th of April, 13th lunar day. And on this 13th lunar day, the moon is already approaching opposition with the sun. And on the day after, we're going to have the full moon, which is going to happen on the axis of Pisces, Virgo, the axis of compassion, the axis of empathy, spiritual work, healing, beautiful axis, and also meditation, work on ourselves, work on our intuition, work on our own awakening. Now is the moment that we can do a lot for ourselves, and all for good. So, the moon on 7th of April, 13th of the 13th April is placed in a very pure degrees in the wings of the Virgin woman again. Healing, work with spiritual work, meditation, studies, teaching others. Now, this day, the 13th lunar day, has a very specific fast, which fast is called cosmic setting. This fast is a bit complex. So if you feel too emotional, if you feel a bit disharmonious, this is due to this moon phase. Work on yourself. Pray. Prayers, when they come from the heart, are always heard by God and by the spirit world. So don't forget to pray. Also, the moon is making harmonious aspect with Venus and is applying to Venus. So we will have a good day, better day than the week before was quite heavy. This one is not easy yet, but we will feel better. And yes, it is because it's always happening in the trine of Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Yes, we can do agriculture, we can spend time in the nature, and it's wonderful. And also, Tuesday is ruled by Aries, by Mars, and Mars is in Capricorn, powerful, so it's very good to connect with him in a very good way, and even ask for his easier influences over us. He's very important. He's ruling the mini era that we are in, so to connect with Mars is good. We can wear red, we can eat the foods, chilies, onions, garlics, ginger, all these spicy things belong to Mars. So this was about Tuesday. Now let's see Wednesday, 8th of April, 14th lunar day of the full moon in the axis of Pisces, Virgo. Very empathic axis, very spiritual, very knowledgeable, very awakening, very much about spending time in the nature because of this beautiful degrees in Virgo. And also, Venus is making trine, so I think it will be good. Now Wednesday is ruled by Mercury. Yes, day to devote time to knowledge, studying the cosmos, meditating, whatever you like. When the day is ruled by Mercury, the Wednesdays are. We can wear green or light green or yellow. We can wear the gemstones, which also will be green, and we can spend time definitely for studying. And yes, when you feel a bit too emotional, or when you feel this full moon in a negative way, just pray and spend time with yourself and with good spiritual practices. Now, many people would feel the full moons in difficult ways. Others would enjoy it. Try to reach this point when you enjoy the full moons and when you actually benefit in a very creative way, because the full moons can actually bring us enormous amounts of creativity, and they can be very, very beneficial, and we can learn how to make use of these specific days of the month. And now let's see Thursday, 9th of April, 15th of lunar day, and then the moon is already waning. So what is happening is that we can already use the day for some medical interventions, but really, if they're not invasive, I repeat, because still the moon is receiving the square from Mars and Saturn. So some mild medical interventions you can already do. The days before were not advisable to be used for medical interventions or for surgeries. Now you can already do, but really, especially on Thursday, carefully. The day is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter, of course, is very benefic, and he is now in the first degree of the sign of Capricorn to give some softening effect on Saturn and Mars conjunction, and to help us deal with our feelings, with our fears. And the day and the moon is in the first degrees of Libra, which are ruled by Saturn, which is wonderful for us to organize our activities, to give attention to design and work of beauty. And because they is ruled by Jupiter, I see this as a good sign. What is when the day is ruled by Jupiter? Yellow and orange. Yellow colors is the color of Jupiter, and such gemstones and sapphires we can wear in such clothes. And yes, when the moon is in such degrees associated with exact sciences, design, work of creativity, this is also what we can do. Okay, and now let's see what is happening on 10th of April, Friday, 16th lunar day. And the moon is waning, and this day is appropriate for medical interventions. And this day, the moon is in the constellation, the Northern Crown. It's like whatever we do, it will become visible in a good way. Or if we do some creative work, if we do media work, we may become visible. Our work may be appreciated by the others. And it's a wonderful day for design work. Medical interventions, yes, but if they're not invasive, because still the aspect of Mars is a fact. And this is the day of Venus. And Venus is always still in Perseus, powerful and lofty and courageous. So we will probably feel the same way. And it's a day of beauty. We can do medical beauty interventions. We can, but not invasive. Mars is not very good. We can do design work of beauty. Everything that involves beauty and art is very, very good, and will be seen, and will be and we will be enjoying it a lot. So this was for Friday. And now let's see Saturday, and the 11th of April, 17th lunar day of the waning moon. The moon is, Saturday, you know, is ruled by Saturn, who is the Lord of Time, the Lord of Karma. It's always appropriate to connect with Saturn, to give conscious attention, knowing that he's the boss of the day, that he's ruling, that he's the Lord. And we can wear dark blue, and we can wear dark blue gemstones and a dark sapphire only on this day. And the moon is in degrees of Hermes, hermetic degrees of knowledge, of healing. Wonderful day for such purposes. The moon is fallen though, so if we feel a little bit low emotionally, just pray, do emotional, do meditations, do spiritual practices. Everything is in the hands of God, and also in your hands, of course, to go through this situation. Medical interventions are allowed, surgical interventions are allowed, but shouldn't be invasive, because even though the moon is waning, it is fallen. So this was for the Saturday. And Sunday, the moon is passing through the degrees of the royal star Antares, powerful, powerful degrees of the army leader. So maybe this will give us courage. Maybe this will, because also the moon is making harmonious aspect to Mars and Saturn and Jupiter. So maybe this will help us overcome our difficult emotions, so to say. Also, because it is Sunday, it would be wonderful to welcome the sun. Welcome the sun, people. Do this every day. You will see this creates miracles, really, really miracles. This can change your lives. It's so good. And it was practiced by almost all ancient cultures that I can imagine. Now, yes, these are the degrees of interest. Still, the moon is fallen. So in terms of medical interventions, you may do, but if they're not really invasive. If you have to do, still do. If you can't, for example, postpone. Because it is not entirely bad, but it is better to wait, for example, until next week, Tuesday, for example, much better. So, and because this is day of the sun, smile, wear yellow, wear orange, wear red, wear garnets, drink oranges, the orange juices, enjoy the day, go to the nature, see the sun. So, ladies and gentlemen, this was my prognosis briefly for the week to come. And well, if you like to study astrology, you can join us the link is under this video. And have a very good week and be very spiritual. And remember, when we pray from the heart, always without exception, the prayers are heard. So have a very good week.